we're called Black Quantum Futurism, and we're from Philadelphia. Okay, shit. Philly's in the motherfucking house. I like that. So we're gonna do a little reading, singing, rapping, a little everything at once. And once again, we're Black Quantum Futurism. So I hope you enjoy it.
A ship about 18 feet diameter and roughly 10 feet high to the dome ceiling. A ship about 18 feet diameter and roughly 10 feet high to the dome ceiling. And 3 men on the ship, besides the one that got off the plane.
You keep calling him a man. What do you mean, man?
Well, they were about 5 foot 6, about my eyebrows.
The institution that is Western science was born of the politics of the 17th century, bifurcating itself as a practice and institution of empirical thought, separate and distinct from philosophical thought. Science is the ultimate political body, the mind-body split, the dualism that persists into present times, the reason why classical physics and quantum physics contradict, blinded by its own so-called enlightenment and thusly setting light and dark as opposites, eternally at odds inside of the cascading chaotic universe. Science is really the resulting end of a negotiation. The laws and principles we all hold to be commonly true about the universe and the world were all shaped by the hands of a privileged few. Traditional sci-fi, a more imaginative retelling of science history and an anticipation of its trajectory, is steeped in the dark ages from which it emerged, reinforcing the narratives of white superiority. Because we know science fiction to be social commentary on the evolution of society through the use of parable, it is easy to see where the lines split between the science of the haves and the have-nots, and thusly where the lines split between traditional and DIY sci-fi. People on the edges, intersections, margins of society can no longer continue to rectify our lack of representation and our lack of survival in traditional science fictional worlds. We are here, and we are many, and we are political. We are political because skin color is political, because body parts are political, because gender is political, because who you like to fuck is political, because breathing clean air and drinking clean water is political. And in order to disavow the political, to challenge the political, to break down the political, you must first understand how it already has you confined, then proceed to unravel it from the inside. Out of the dust of the crumbling institutions of science, divorced from imagination, what they call hyphenated science fiction, comes science and speculative possibility in the form of Black Quantum Futurism. A new science for a new world of our own shaping. Here, with science left in our care, the thermodynamic arrow shoots out into all possible directions. Here, at Black Quantum Futurism, there is no difference between the experimental and the theoretical. Here, at Black Quantum Futurism, science fiction is the dying remnant of the old ways of living. We are science's proposal to imagination for a happy, lifelong union. We are time equals space.
Falling out of style. They
Where's the master
say
clock?
I'm running
Who watches it and who keeps time?
of time.
If the master clock stops,
Oh,
does time stop?
help me, oh,
There are clocks that chart the hours, minutes, and seconds.
nobody
Calendars that chart the march of days, months, and years. Suns, planets, and stars that chart the ages, mapping out cosmic time.
to be
More subtle are the ways in which time governs our social interactions, regulates our emotions, our movements, frames our worldviews, informs our politics, and leaks into our very consciousness. The ways in which we are situated in time are reflected in how we talk about, think about, conceptualize the world around us. Natural time has been overthrown by Western linear time, where temporal orientation is facilitated by clocks, schedules, cell phones, digital calendars. The inscription of linear space-time came to be discerned in the boundaries of slave ownership. 36 degrees and 30 north is the parallel of latitude that divides where slavery was allowed and prohibited in America under the Missouri Compromise. This is the line that separated the United States from the Confederate States. There was a process by which white Southern slave masters adapted a mechanical clock time and corresponding linear time construct as the dominant temporal consciousness over that of nature-based timekeeping methods. In general, an indigenous African time consciousness has a backwards linearity in that when events occur, they immediately move backwards towards Zamadi or macro time. In many indigenous African cultures and spiritual traditions, time can be created. It is independent of events, and it is not real until and unless experienced. From this time perspective, time is composed of events. Days, months, and years are only a graphic or numerical representation of those events. We have to compare the Western linear dead physical timeline with past, future, and a regularly moving now with the African living time. Indigenous African notions of time were connected to natural events such as rainfall, the rising and setting of the sun, or time was a natural rhythm or pacing, such as the time it takes you to walk from one place to another. Such an experience of time has such features as concerns for the details of the event, regardless of the time required, exhaustive consideration of a problem until resolved, and emphasis on present experience rather than the past or the future. In African time, future events are situated in potential time. Those events do not depend on specific clock or calendar dates for their manifestation. Instead, time depends on the quality of the event and the person experiencing it. Once the future event is experienced, it instantaneously moves backwards into the present and past dimensions. One potent example of this is the African spatial temporal orientation during slavery is the use of the North Star to point north on the Underground Railroad. However, if but for survival purposes alone, enslaved Africans came to internalize some form of a linear time construct. Modern day mechanical clock time and its ancillary linear temporal rhythms were encoded into the enslaved black African by means of the whip, by means of bells, chains, horns, and other forms of torture and physical violence. Temporal literacy, ownership of timepieces was also forbidden for enslaved Africans, lest it be used as a tool by which to gain our freedom. The so-called emancipation of enslaved Africans from bondage did not automatically free us of the master's clock. At the point of emancipation, the Western linear construct of space and time was already encoded into every aspect of the Western way of life, social order, economy, transportation, and communication. Time continues to be used as another form of social control against oppressed communities. There is no practical way to eschew the linear temporal consciousness while remaining on these lands. If seeking to integrate or to at least peacefully coexist, compromises must be made. A split spatial temporal consciousness, one parallel to that of the Bosnian double consciousness, thereby gradually developed in the emancipated African, what some have called colored people or CP time. Black quantum futurism sees this as the space-time collapse. What time is it? What time is it? What time is it? What time is it? What time is it?
I never found you funny, never found you entertaining, I never found you smart. I just found you annoying.
Thank you, we're Black Futurism.